Hello then, welcome back to another Star Wars What If reaction. Today we're reacting to what if Commander Cody found Obi Wan on Tatooine after Order 66. A huge thanks to Nicole for suggesting this what if to me. This what if is of course made by the Star Wars Galaxies, so be sure to check him out, the links in the description, and I cannot wait to see what he's coming up with for this what if, so let's jump right in.
Our story begins in the Imperial barracks on Coruscant.
Let's do this.
Clone troopers were still coming to grips with their new reality.
Right,
the Republic was gone, replaced by this Empire,
this
and
is
they were
the
now
base
serving more as a security force, ensuring the Empire does not face any threats.
Sad, man.
Instead of an army fighting the Separatists.
Real sad.
And in these barracks, Commander Cody was lying awake, unable to sleep, as he thought.
This is probably the base right on Coruscant where Commander Cody questioned Crosshair in the Bad Batch. I remember that, man. That was real sad.
About what this Empire now stood for. He recalled his final mission of the Clone Wars, where he and former General Kenobi took down General Grievous and his droid
so fire
army,
in the movie,
marking the end of the war and what should have been victory for the Republic. But new orders came in as soon as Grievous was gone. Orders that Cody would never forget. Order 66. Cody.
You know, I can't like how Cody must have felt, man, after having to betray Kenobi like that. I mean, they were like best friends, you know?
Knew the stories well by now. A group of Jedi tried to assassinate the Emperor,
yeah,
and the attack left Palpatine scarred and deformed. The people of the galaxy didn't know the Jedi like Cody and the clones did, though. Cody knew how powerful the Jedi were, and he knew, deep down, that if a group of Jedi truly wanted to kill Palpatine, then they would have succeeded.
That's true, but also he doesn't know the power of Palpatine, but, you know, of course, that is, to an extent, it's actually right. Yeah, these are powerful as hell. If they really wanted to kill Palpatine, they would have.
Unless there was more to the story. Cody knew rumors about Sith. He saw Grievous and Ventress in battle many times, and a quiet theory among the clones was that perhaps one of these Sith saved Palpatine from the Jedi. But that's all it was, a theory. Now Cody recalled the rise of the Empire after the extermination of the Jedi. He wondered why he didn't really care more about the Jedi. It was as if something in his brain was just forcing him to believe the Jedi were evil, and so he believed it. But the more missions he went on for the Empire, the more Cody began to think he was the evil one.
Yeah, I mean, he's starting to realize that the Empire basically just trying to brainwash them into thinking something that isn't true, and, you know, he's realizing, which is good.
At first, everything seemed fine, but a few weeks back, Cody returned from Kashyyyk after a horrifying mission.
What happened?
He and the rest of the 212th spent a long time fighting back against Wookiees, resisting the Empire.
Oh, that's so sad. Like, Wookiees were one of the closest allies to the Jedi and the clones and aided them in the Clone War, and now they're oppressing them and shit like that. I mean, we see in Star Wars so much how the Wookiees are just getting screwed over. There's also so much with the slave trade in Star Wars. A lot of those slaves are Wookiees, so that is just sad.
And because of their resistance, the Wookiee planet had thousands of their kind captured and transported off-planet to be slaves of the Empire. So many innocent Wookiees separated from their friends and families, and Cody was a part of it. He tried to shake this mission from his mind, but immediately another one came to the front of his mind. It was on Desix. Cody just got back from...
Right, isn't that the mission they actually showed him on with Crosshair in the Bad Batch? I'm pretty sure it is.
The mission to Desix with Crosshair.
Yep.
The lone member of the Bad Batch serving the Empire still. And on this mission, they were tasked with rescuing the Imperial hostage taken by the acting governor of the planet. The governor was telling Cody how bad things were under the Empire, and Cody promised her a peaceful solution to all of this.
Yeah, that's how this should have ended, the, you know, negotiation, and then, well, Crosshair just fucking came in and shot her.
But Crosshair killed her in cold blood, as that was the mission. Cody could not stand for this any longer, and after a few more hours of being unable to sleep, Cody decided he was done. It was time for a new life. And so, in a moment of feeling free for the first time, Cody decided to do what was best for him.
Right, he did go AWOL in the Bad Batch, but, like, we don't know what happened to him, which is just annoying, man, because I'd like to know so much. What did he do? Where did he go? What happened, man? Like, is he dead? Is he alive? Is he... what's going on with him, you know?
He grabbed his armor, his blaster, and enough rations to get him through a few days, then snuck into the Coruscant streets, where the morning crowd was beginning to gather. Cody stole a hat and a poncho, and he tried sneaking onto a transport, but he was denied without a ticket.
Just like Rex.
Frustratedly, Cody looked around the Coruscant hangar until he saw a rusty old ship where a human and an Aqualish pirate were loading crates that had spice leaking out of
Is
them.
he gonna fucking steal
A
it?
local officer noticed this, and he began chasing them, saying spice smuggling is illegal around here, and Cody saw his opportunity.
Oh, he's
The
gonna
two
take the
pirates
ship.
got into their ship, and they began to lift up the
Oh,
back
no, he's
ramp,
not gonna take
as
it.
Cody was barely able to dive inside of it. Cody turned, firing a stun blast at the officer, then ordered the pirates to take off. They looked at each other, and the human told the pirate called Ponda Baba to get out of here.
Ponda
And
Baba?
they flew into space, taking off. The two pirates entered hyperspace, then turned and pointed their blasters at Cody, demanding to know
Motherfuckers, he just saved y'all asses pretty much.
who he is, and only keeping him alive because he took down that officer. Cody hesitated for a moment, then he said that his name is Obi, and he's just trying to make his way in this galaxy.
Obi.
All he asks in return is safe passage to wherever they're going. The two pirates scowled, then told Cody it'll cost him, and so Cody pulled out a comlink,
Costa, you what the dicks.
and he said with a simple push of a button, the Empire will be on him in an instant, as he is an Imperial commander.
Ooh.
So the two pirates angrily sat down, telling Cody he better like sand, because they're going to Tatooine.
That is so fucking
When they
perfect.
eventually landed, Cody went his own way.
And it's not even like the Star Wars Galaxy trying to make this work. It makes sense that smugglers would go to Tatooine, you know?
Separate from these smugglers, and he looked around the Mos Eisley spaceport, realizing he had 0 credits to his name. Cody
Yeah.
wanted to get off of this sandy rock, travel somewhere else, anywhere else really, maybe even find other clone deserters.
I'm gonna guess Kenobi's gonna find him by, like, you know, feeling him in the Force or something, like, fearing his presence, and like, oh shit, that's Cody.
But in order to do that, he would need to work a bit.
Yep.
So over the next few weeks, Cody would hide his face with a face mask so no one knew he was a clone,
Maybe he can.
and he would take
Oh,
any
maybe he can become a bounty hunter.
jobs available, which ended up being a lot of janitorial work, until the local transportation manager approached Cody, asking if he would be interested in a piloting position.
Ooh.
Cody immediately said yes, as piloting would be much more fun and better suited for him. So the manager walked with Cody over to a hover train, which wasn't exactly what Cody had in
Wait,
mind.
isn't that one of those thingies that Obi Wan was taking from work? Dude, it's one of those things.
But either way,
Yep,
Cody had to take the
it
job,
is.
and after a few days he drove the train into Anchorhead to pick up some locals and take them back to
Dude,
their
he's gonna fucking meet Obi Wan on this train.
homes. It was just a regular day on this awful sandy rock, and Cody was doing his regular driving when he looked in the mirror to observe his passengers, and Cody nearly swerved the entire train into a sand dune. He quickly recovered, getting back on route, but Cody was suddenly shaking in fear, wondering if this was some sort of terrible flashback. He swore he
It's
saw someone
Kenobi.
familiar in the back of the train. He recognized the beard and the sad eyes of Obi Wan Kenobi.
It's Kebab.
In the back of this hover train, former Jedi Master Obi Wan Kenobi was just getting done with another boring day as a laborer,
Oh,
slicing
shit.
meat, when the hover train pilot nearly killed him. Obi-Wan thought to himself that going out in a hover train crash would have been rather amusing considering everything he's been through. But he sat back and he looked to the driver. He had
Is he gonna like notice the, you know, clone-looking driver?
short hair, but he wore a mask covering his face. Obi-Wan squinted, and he was able to see some sort of white or gray armor underneath the poncho.
Oh.
And Obi-Wan began to panic a bit. Was that clone armor? Could the clone have recognized him? Is that why the train nearly crashed? Obi-Wan pulled his own poncho over his mouth and nose, and he kept to himself until the train stopped nearby his cave. Cody watched as the man resembling Kenobi got out, and he made a mental note of where this area was.
Okay.
And hours later,
Oh, so now he knows pretty much, you know, whereabouts Kenobi's living, most likely living, and he's probably gonna go over there, you know?
Cody's day was finished. His curiosity got the best of him, and he ventured out into the Dune Sea, trying to track down the spot where the mysterious man got out of the train. For hours, Cody was alone, surrounded by nothing but sand,
That's
and he
fucking
put his
fun.
helmet on to keep the wind and sand out of his eyes. More and more hours passed by, and eventually, Cody's throat was beyond dry, his legs were struggling to move, his vision was extremely dizzy. He wondered if Kenobi was just a mirage from his haunted past
Nope,
memories.
it's real, man.
And Cody fell to his knees, passing out under the Tatooine
Kebab is gonna find him,
moonlight.
isn't he? Kebab. Come
And
on,
when
Kebab.
Cody opened his eyes, he was no longer under the stars.
yep.
Instead, he was in some sort of cave with a fire crackling nearby.
Let's go, man.
Cody realized his wrists were restrained behind him, and he looked around, wondering what was going on. And from the
Does Kebab, like, not recognize Cody, or does he just scared that, maybe Cody's here to hunt him down.
Corner of the cave, a man entered with some extra firewood, and he sat across from Cody. It was him. It was Obi Wan Kenobi. And in a cold, maybe even scared voice, Obi Wan asked Cody who else knows he is here, who else is looking for him. Cody's words tumbled out of his mouth as he promised there was no one else. He wasn't even trying to find him. This is all just some sort of coincidence. Obi-Wan wasn't sure if he believed this. He was looking at the fire, and all he could see in the fire was Anakin Skywalker burning on Mustafar, calling for Obi-Wan to help him, then turning to rage and anger as Obi-Wan left him to die. And Obi-Wan knew that if the clones didn't turn against the Jedi, then perhaps all of this could have been prevented. If the clones didn't turn, then maybe Anakin would have stayed in the light. Maybe the Jedi would be living in a newly secured republic. Obi-Wan had to clench his fists. He was feeling the panic, the anxiety of everything rising in him, and he yelled at Cody now, yelling that he ruined everything. Obi-Wan had to force himself to calm down, remembering he is still a Jedi, and he simply asked Cody, why? Why after 3 years of brotherhood did he try to kill him? And Cody found himself lost for words. He genuinely didn't know. He just knew the Jedi were traitors. So he told Obi-Wan he was just following orders, as that was the only explanation he had. Neither Cody nor Obi-Wan knew of the inhibitor chips, or at least knew of their true effects. But as Obi-Wan sat here with Cody, he began to recall the incident with Fives and Tup, and how their parasites caused them to kill Jedi. So Obi-Wan stood next to Cody now, and he asked if he could see into his memories. Cody wasn't exactly sure what this meant, so he said that would be fine, and Obi-Wan reached his hand out, entering Cody's mind. He saw the horrors on Kashyyyk, Desix, and soon Kenobi would find Utapau. Obi-Wan sifted through the memories of Utapau until he saw Cody giving him back his lightsaber. He saw himself climb.
Oh shit, he's gonna see Palpatine's hologram, execute Order 66.
The mountainside, when Cody now received a transmission from Palpatine himself. He told Cody to execute Order 66. And now Obi-Wan saw everything begin to change in these memories. Cody began to scream in the cave as Obi-Wan saw how Order 66 shifted Cody's brain, as if something were activated inside of him. And his memories were basically of a new person in that moment. And as Cody was yelling out, asking Obi-Wan to stop this, Obi-Wan placed both of his hands on Cody's head, closing his eyes, searching his head for the chip. When Obi-Wan could feel it, he called upon the Force, saying he is one with the Force, and the Force is with him, until he felt the chip shut down. Cody gasped, and Obi-Wan let go, and he grabbed at his head. He felt the missions, the orders.
Damn, so you can just do it like that? He just shut down a chip, he didn't even have to take it out. That's cool.
The pain of everything. It just faded, and Cody was left with the reality of what he and his men did. They killed all the Jedi for nothing. Palpatine ordered them to do it. They had no choice. Cody fell over, but Obi-Wan caught him and helped Cody to sit back down, telling him it's alright, undoing his wrist binds, saying he understands. He can see now that Cody and the clones had no choice, and the two of them would spend the night awake in the cave, both of them beginning to warm up to each other once more. And Obi-Wan was relieved to know that Cody left the Empire on his own. Luke was safe. No one else knew he was here. Cody was enjoying this company, and he would learn of the tragic death of Skywalker.
Oh man.
But Obi-Wan also mentioned that Anakin became a man named Vader before his death, and Cody's heart dropped to his stomach.
Oh shit, fucking, because Cody's a commander, so that especially makes him knowledgeable of the fact that Darth Vader, is a fucking thing.
He told Obi-Wan that he is wrong about one thing. Vader is alive, and he is in command of the Imperial military. Of course, no one ever knew who Vader was under the suit until now. Cody just assumed it was some dark warrior. But now both him and Kenobi knew the truth. Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, is alive. And so Obi-Wan told Cody
this changes so fucking much. I mean, he progressed 3 years after Order 66, which means that Kenobi, instead of discovering after 10 years that Anakin is alive, he discovers after 3.
Leave. Go anywhere else. Obi-Wan couldn't have any ties to his old life, or he would risk Luke's life. But Cody was confused. He expected Obi-Wan to want to rejoin the fight, as Cody had a spark reignited for fighting when he found Kenobi. He told Obi-Wan that there have to be more clones like him.
Yeah, Kebab, man. Kebab, come on, Kebab. You gotta fight.
Eager to fight the Empire. But Obi-Wan said his time for fighting is done.
No, it's
not. And again, he told Cody to leave. So for the next few days, Obi-Wan would go about his usual business, going into town for some credits and food, making his daily stops to check in on Luke. But Cody was not leaving. Instead, the former commander was camping outside of Obi-Wan's cave, waiting, knowing that
Is bro protesting?
Obi-Wan was going to remember his duty very soon. And Cody would be proven right, as after a few more days, Obi-Wan had enough, and he went up to Cody, asking him to explain his plan. He must have one if he's just sitting around, waiting for Kenobi, right? And Cody smiled up at his old friend, saying he certainly has concepts of a plan.
Okay.
Obi-Wan could only shake his head, but he was listening, and after a few more days of planning, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Commander Cody were back on Coruscant. Their plan was simple: get into Palpatine's office and use the same communicator that he used to execute Order 66 to tell all of the clones about who Palpatine really is. Remind the clones about the incident with Fives, which basically everyone knew about by now, and tell the clones that it was the chips that made the clones turn against the Jedi, as Palpatine was working with the Separatists this entire time. The hope from there was that the Imperial Army would turn against the Emperor after learning he is a traitor. So the two of them walked to the barracks, where Obi-Wan would carefully subdue an officer and take his uniform and clearance code. From the barracks, the two of them took a speeder across the city, all the way to the executive building. And once there, Obi-Wan used the stolen security clearance to get them inside of the building. And now, Kenobi and Cody separated from each other, as Obi-Wan moved to the main hall, while Cody took an elevator up to the offices. And once in the main hall, Obi-Wan pulled an emergency alarm switch, ordering everyone in the building to evacuate immediately. Coruscant Guard stormtroopers stormed into the main hall, ushering people out, and Obi-Wan acted like an officer, pretending to get his people out, and he used his communicator, asking Cody if the Emperor has left his office yet. Cody was hiding behind a wall as the Emperor was evacuated by his Red Guards, so Cody told Obi-Wan he is gone, and then the commander snuck into the office. He got to the communicator, switching it on, but now they ran into their first real issue.
What?
They needed a direct fingerprint from Palpatine himself to turn it on.
Yeah, I don't know,
Cody urgently told Obi-Wan this would be their only chance to speak to the clones in a large group. The Empire is quickly ushering in stormtroopers and getting rid of the clones. If they want a true uprising, this could be their only chance. So Obi-Wan closed his eyes, then looked down to his belt. He had his and Anakin's lightsabers on it, and he made a choice. He would have to kill Palpatine and take his hand for the communicator.
I'm sorry, Kebab. How the fuck are you supposed to do that?
Cody tried telling him this was a mistake, but Obi-Wan put away his comlink, and he waited. Moments later, Palpatine and his guards entered the main hall, and Obi-Wan acted. He turned the corner.
Palps has his guards with him as well.
Throwing Anakin's blue saber through the air. Sidious spun away easily, but it killed the two Red Guards, and Obi-Wan now ignited his own blade, running at Sidious.
I mean, he's a master defense. I don't know if Kebab has been, keeping up with his training and been quite connected with the Force, but no, I don't see this going well for him.
The Dark Lord smiled and laughed, telling Kenobi he sensed Jedi filth from the moment he returned to the planet, and Sidious ignited his own red blade, spinning at Kenobi to meet him in the air. His crimson blade was humming with power, as it parried Obi-Wan's strikes, but Obi-Wan was backing the Sith Lord towards the wall. Obi-Wan fought valiantly, his movements crisp and methodical, but Sidious was only toying with him, letting him believe the fight was much more even than it really was. Sidious's strikes were perfect, each one designed to push Kenobi to the edge.
Some kind of miracle has to happen. I don't know, Yoda spawns in or something, I don't know.
But never deliver a true decisive blow. He circled Obi-Wan like a predator, enjoying this game. The swinging of Sidious's saber intensified, and he was now moving faster than any human eye could even follow. It was as if he were a living shadow, impossible to defeat. Obi-Wan's defenses held, but he was struggling. Sweat was lining his brow as he narrowly dodged a slash aimed for his throat. The hall's golden and red walls reflected the eerie glow of their clashing blades, and as Obi-Wan flipped backwards to catch his breath, he sensed a new presence, and he heard the sounds of cold, metallic breathing.
Vader!
Darth Vader himself entered the room, and Obi-Wan now saw why Sidious was toying with him for all this time. He was waiting for Vader.
Fuck's sake, he's gonna make Vader face Kebab. Oh, God.
Sidious's eyes burned beneath his hood, his amusement turning cold, and in an instant, this game was over. Sidious's next strike came quickly, his crimson blade cutting through Obi-Wan's thigh in a blur of motion. Obi-Wan gasped in pain, stumbling, but before he could even recover, Sidious slashed again, his lightsaber searing through Obi-Wan's arm.
No,
the Jedi Master fell to his knees, his weapon clattering uselessly to the floor, and a swift kick from Sidious sent him sprawling. The wind knocked from his lungs as he hit the marble floor very hard. Sidious loomed over him, cackling, his fingers suddenly crackling with blue lightning.
Oh,
The tendrils
he's
surged
dead.
from Sidious's hands, burning Obi-Wan's body with agonizing pain. He convulsed on the floor, unable to get away as the Emperor poured wave after wave of electricity into him. Sidious turned his head slightly towards Vader, as if savoring the moment. He relished showing his apprentice the power he could never truly possess, his voice dripping with venom, reminding Vader of his place beneath him. Sidious reminded Vader that this was the man he lost to on Mustafar, and now the Sith would have their true revenge. It was their destiny. But as Obi-Wan lay trembling in pain, he summoned the last of his strength.
Okay.
He was able to call upon words that brought great risk, but also ignited a new hope in this moment. Obi-Wan yelled out at Vader, Anakin, that his children are alive. Padme's children are alive.
Whoa.
He can still honor her memory, but only if he does what is right. Vader stood still, feeling into the Force.
So Kenobi's really fucking just doing everything now, just to get Palpatine to, I don't know, die. He just spoke of Vader's children. If Kenobi dies here, then the galaxy's just fucked.
And he could tell Obi-Wan was telling the truth. His children are alive. Sidious was still distracted, pouring more lightning into the Jedi.
Okay.
That ruined all of Anakin's potential. And Vader realized now that if Obi-Wan dies, then Vader may never find his children. As Vader looked into the blue lightning, he almost thought he could see Padme's ghost staring at him, smiling, urging him to finally take back his life.
Shit.
So without another moment of hesitation, Vader called Anakin's lightsaber into his hand, and he ignited it through Sidious's back.
Oh.
The Emperor's yellow eyes widened in shock. The crackling of the lightning sputtered out, and Sidious fell to the floor.
Fuck yeah.
The weight of the betrayal crashing down on him in his final moments.
Fuck yeah.
As he died on the cold floor.
Let's go.
Obi-Wan was still laying
Yes.
down, his breath ragged, and the Dark Lord died beside him. Vader stood still, the blue blade dimming in his hand, the silence in the hall thick with the finality of what he did. And he slowly walked towards Obi-Wan, asking where his children are. Obi-Wan sat up, and he nodded. Vader realized what this nod meant a second too late, as 3 consecutive laser shots pierced his armor, destroying his breathing apparatus.
Oh.
And Obi-Wan slashed through his chest
No!
as Vader fell to the
Wait.
floor. Commander Cody was standing at the doorway as he arrived as Palpatine died, and he saw Vader. Obi-Wan knew what had to be done. He could not allow Vader to find Luke and Leia.
Okay.
So Cody shot Vader, and Kenobi finished it. And he removed Vader's mask as he died, telling his old friend he is so sorry. But Anakin was able to die with some peace, knowing his children would live on for
Okay.
him and for Padme.
Okay.
Obi-Wan looked at Palpatine's hand,
I
and he told
guess the kind of turned back to the light. Not quite yet, but kind of.
Cody to do it. So Cody took the hand, running back to Palpatine's office, using it to access the communicator, and Cody would broadcast a message to the entire clone army. They were all deceived, created for a plan none of them understood. The Emperor was working with Dooku and the Separatists to create this empire, and it has cost all of the clones their lives, or their brothers' lives. Cody spent a long time going over everything, and across the galaxy, the clones would begin to take their lives into their own hands, disavowing the Empire.
Nice, man.
On
Let's
Tantus,
go.
The revolt was led by Commander Wolffe and Clone Commander Scorch,
Yo.
as they took down that base together. It wouldn't take long for Rex and the Bad Batch to build their clone uprising to a level that never could have been predicted. Obi-Wan and Cody would find this uprising, and the reunion between Cody and Rex would be amazing, as they fought in battle together against the recruited human soldiers serving the Empire.
Let's fucking
For
go.
months, the Empire would fall apart from the top down, as different people were vying for power, while the clones took down Imperial facilities, and soon, Jedi would rejoin the fight alongside the clones, including Grandmaster Yoda, after a long talk with
Yes.
Obi-Wan. 1 year after the deaths of Palpatine and Vader, the Empire would be a shell of itself, and the uprising would be able to completely take over to form a new republic, on the backs of the clones and senators that were loyal to the Jedi and clones.
Let's go, man.
Palpatine's corruption and affiliations with Dooku would be completely exposed,
Ooh.
and the people would see that the Empire was built on lies. When it was all over, Bail Organa would become Chancellor, and Ryo Chuchi would be Vice-Chancellor, with young Leia Organa wanting to be just like her father someday, and the young Luke Skywalker would still be the adopted child of Owen and Beru, but they
Okay.
would grant Obi-Wan permission to train him to be a Jedi.
Nice.
For years, Obi-Wan would train Luke under the guidance of Master Yoda and Master Jin from the Force Netherworld, as Luke was set to become the eventual Grand Master, and Leia was set to become the next great senator, or even Chancellor. The clones would continue serving the New Republic even as they aged, but the double aging would be stopped, so they
Ooh.
could live normal lives if
That's
they so
nice,
choose.
man. That's real nice.
Cody would be the head of this grand army, and together, he and Kenobi would live on, working with each other, keeping
Rex
peace
is also
together
still around,
in
and
this
Ahsoka.
new republic. And folks, that is our story for
Wow, holy shite. You know what? 10 out of 10 for this one. 10 out of 10. I love this. Once again, I love how, he creates this climax that you're like, oh, okay, Kenobi and the Jedi and the galaxy are just fucked, but then, comes through with a very interesting, awesome plan that you do not expect, and boom, good ending for the story, beautiful ending. Kenobi is still alive, Yoda, Ahsoka, all those guys we love. Of course, unfortunately, Anakin could not be brought back, but a sacrifice this story had to make. But beautiful story, I think. 10 out of 10 for this one. Let me know what you guys would rate this what if out of 10. If you agree with my 10 out of 10 rating, or if you don't. And what you would rate it, of course, in the comment section down below.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this reaction, make sure to go subscribe to the Star Wars Galaxy for more awesome what if content. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. Remember, a new Star Wars what if reaction drops every single day. Join our Discord, the link's in the description. Also, if you want to support the channel and get exclusive perks, consider joining our Patreon. Huge thanks to all of our amazing Patrons for your support. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video, so drop a comment with feedback or let me know which what if I should react to next. Thanks again for watching. This is the way, and may the Force be with you. Until then, I will see you next time.
Hey, you didn't watch it? Well, check out the video on the left side of the screen, which is specifically recommended for you, or check out the playlist on the right of the screen, which contains similar videos to this one, made by me, of course. Hey, remember, subscribe.